when we can learn some other ways and practice other ways of doing things, then we can put them into action. If we're not given the tools to be able to do something differently, then we'll default to whatever we know.
Julie is our author of one of our popular booklets, Parenting, Finding the Fun. And so I've invited you in, Julie, to have a discussion about grandparenting. So Julie, as a grandparent, what are you called?
I'm Nana, or Nana Jules.
Nana Jules. I'm actually Ma. It's probably not what I was going to choose. I actually said, when my children asked what I'd like to be called, I said Grandma, and then everything gets shortened. So Grandma just became Ma, and my husband is Pa. So that's what we're called. So tell me about being a grandparent. Who have you got as grandchildren?
I have a 4-year-old and a 4-year-old little boy, and our son got married and a 6-year-old came into our life because of that. We have a 2-year-old little girl and a 9-month-old boy and another one on the way. So,
congratulations.
Yeah,
wow.
Thank you.
So do you see them regularly?
I see our 4-year-old and 2-year-old pretty much every week, and the other two I'm getting to starting to establish a routine of seeing them.
Oh, how lovely.
Which is nice.
Yeah. I'm working almost full time, so I certainly see our grandchildren on the weekends and perhaps, early evening or whatever if they happen to be home. But my husband is not working and he's retired. And so he has our youngest grandchild, who's 3, on Mondays and Fridays, and he jokes that it's his hardest day of the week. He also volunteers at a local care organisation 2 days a week, doing a van run and doing some maintenance jobs. He says, oh, that's a piece of cake. That's just a joy. He says, babysitting on a Monday and a Friday is absolutely a joy and absolutely exhausting. So, I find that interesting. How have you found when you've got...
absolutely exhausting. It keeps me fit. I am small enough to be able to go up and down. That we've recently discovered one of those toy cafes or play cafes, and it's nice being little enough to be able to go up and down the slides and in all of the ball pits and things. So that's been lots of fun and exhausting, and I always sleep very well that night. And we occasionally, if Mum and Dad are running short of sleep, we have them overnight too, which we all enjoy, and we're not sure whether we're just too old or when we just don't hear them calling out, but they tend to sleep better at Nana and Pop's than they do at home.
Isn't that funny? We've found that too. Actually, my husband's got excellent hearing, even if I haven't, so he would hear. They seem to sleep very well at our place too. So, that's interesting. Different bedtime routines potentially with different people looking after the children. So what have been some of the challenges that you've found?
My career has been to work with parents. So, and so I'm fairly up with what the latest things are with the way parents are told to do things, or etc. And I'm tried to keep up on the science of that for the last 40 years or something. So that's certainly changed since I was a mum.
So what do you think? What's changed?
What's changed? I think it's a lot gentler parenting generally. I think I guess I have firm views about what's not okay anymore. Sometimes there will be particular ideas about the way that a child needs to be disciplined, for example. And I've done a lot of study on discipline, probably from having children where that was shouted at me, that child needs more discipline. But my idea of discipline has completely changed. That discipline means training, and discipline and punishment aren't the same thing. And that I've learnt a lot from the people who've done lots of science research and
So
watching it.
I like that. Discipline means training, and discipline and punishment aren't the same thing. Tell me more about discipline means training. Can you give it some examples?
From my research over a number of years, discipline enables and equips somebody to be able to, for the future. And a lot of punishment is about reacting to something that's just happened. And it doesn't prepare somebody for what to do next time. So discipline is about training a child in the way that we would like them to respond to something next time. So if they do something and it's a childlike thing where they're exploring or they're not thinking or it's just whatever it is, it's more about us stopping ourselves from reacting if we possibly can. That's not always possible. And then helping the child perhaps quieten down or find a way of calming when the situation is calmer, then be able to figure out what could you do next time? How could you do this? Rather than explode, react, and then everybody regret the consequences and the kids just, well, as adults we do too, I suppose. If somebody is explosive around us, we retreat and we get really defensive and we don't learn anything. We just feel horrible and everybody feels horrible.
Or if we're learning something, we're learning to cower again the next time in the next situation rather than solving the problem.
Yeah.
You're making me recall a time when I know I got it wrong. I was at a busy shopping centre having one child, I'm guessing a 3-year-old next to me while I'm getting the 1-year-old out of the car. We were in a shopping centre in a car park and the 3-year-old ran. And, ran across potentially some traffic. My reaction, was obviously horror, having one child on a hip and then, yes. And so my reaction, was not appropriate. It was over the top. It was obviously a time that 3-year-old needed to stop and learn and learn quickly. Advice for me.
But it's I'm not going to judge. What I have found though is that when we can learn some other ways and practice other ways of doing things, then we can put them into action. If we're not given the tools to be able to do something differently, then we'll default to whatever we know.
You mentioned before too that training aspect when calm. So, waiting for myself to calm down, waiting for the child to calm down. Like if a child's having a tantrum in the middle of the supermarket and, what child doesn't at some point in time, that moment's probably not a good training moment.
No.
No. So when? Afterwards, when there's calm, when there's... Yeah.
I'm trying to think of our own situation with our kids. Yeah, definitely not in the moment. You can't deal with something in the middle of a hurricane.
Yep.
Yeah.
A tantrum is definitely a hurricane.
Let the storm settle and then do it when you're much more relaxed.